Oh my god, guys. This is gonna be crazy. Let's get you turned down here. Bring you on over. Welcome, welcome back to another video and to Celestiam base. Well, okay, so here's what happened. My wife said, listen, you're not going to be recording these stupid galactic videos inside of our bloody office, inside of our house anymore. It's like we live in a 2-bedroom apartment. This is ridiculous. You're going to have to try and conquer the galaxy somewhere else because it's taking up too much room. So I've been working tirelessly in conjunction with a bunch of my other galactic allies, and we have finally developed this. Alright, let me give you a look around. You can see our flags here. Alright, I've got my team working in the background. If I move this right here, you can see we've even got droids. Alright. And we got our own base now, so we're chilling. Hopefully this looks cool. What do you guys think? Let me know. We're moving on up in the world. Is it not a good enough view for you? Let me bring you in even closer. Woo! Look at that! I want to give a massive shout out to my friend Light, who has drawn up the designs for Celestiam base and all of our other beautiful logo stuff. As you can see right there, he's done this. He's just done about everything. Now, if you're interested in your own sort of Star Wars style art, then have a look at the description down below. I'm going to link you to the site where you can go have a look at his entire portfolio, and you'll be able to get your own Star Wars art. And he's fantastic to work with. Trust me, he's brilliant. Now, I want to let you guys know that I totally fried my brain on trying to come up with the best information for all you guys and girls out there for a requested video that I've had for a long time, that being Squad Order in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Now, I like to think I'm a relatively smart guy. You know, I'm in the 3rd year of my PhD. I've been around the block, you know what I mean? I'm 30 years old. Cheers. I hope you guys have a drink, because you're going to need one for this video. Who knew that this was such an in-depth psycho topic? Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you all is that I've had to do my research for this video. By research, I mean I looked at 3 other YouTube videos. And I'm going to link all of those in the description down below. A shout out to all of you. Whether the information is current and most relevant or not, it's brilliant, and we're going to talk about this. There's plenty of videos out there on Squad Order, but there's a lot of controversy and contention about this. There's you know, the players have been plaguing the developers for a long time to try and discover the truth behind this issue. What is the correct squad order for those teams that have mass assists or unique abilities that trigger other things that would matter in these special circumstances where oh my god, I hopefully this is a good video, because I'm telling you, my brain is literally fried. Come on over here, let's take a look at this. We are on the main account today, Cage Storm. Now, it seems to me that for most of you out there, and this is not the answer that you might have thought would be the one that I would give you, it seems that Squad Order really isn't that important in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I know. Shock, horror, total controversy. You're all freaking out. Your mouths are hitting your jaws are hitting the ground. You've dropped your drinks. Your glasses are shattered. I'm sorry, but this seems to be the truth of the matter. I'm sorry. Now, let's get into the A team that is always discussed when we're talking about squad order, and that is going to be the infamous Geonosians. Now, anyone who's ever spent more than 2 seconds on the Geonosians know that you need to have Geonosian Brood Alpha sitting in your first spot here. So, for those of you who are very new to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the first slot absolutely does matter, because whoever is in this first slot, their leadership ability is going to be activated. Now, this is going to be basic information for a lot of people, but let me just cover it super quickly. When you click on your character, you will see all of their abilities listed down here on the left side of the screen, and they're going to tell you what kind of ability they are. As you can see in brackets here, the first ability is always going to be a basic. A basic is never going to be affected by cooldowns, and is always going to be available for you to use when this character's turn comes around. Special abilities are going to be a little bit different. They are going to be actively playable abilities for you to use on this character in a battle. However, there are some restrictions about when they can be played. A leadership ability is not like a button that you click on in order to activate it. This is active in the character that sits in the first slot of your squad order and is activated for all of the subsequent characters that are included in that squad that have synergy with this leadership ability. Now, this is an extremely basic and important concept to grasp for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. If you are not constructing your squads around the best leadership ability and are making sure that the squads that you're putting together are sharing that synergy, then you are doing yourself a massive disservice, and you need to go ahead and investigate this aspect of the game, which shouldn't take you too long. All you need to do is look at a bunch of other players, ask your guilds, what are the best leaders for, the basic squads that I've got in my roster, and you're going to do fine. That's the thing that's important, okay? Now, for unique abilities, again, these are not playable. However, they are active throughout a battle, can be circumstantial in terms of when they are actually activated, etc. However, there's two factors that matter when it comes to squad order, and that is for mass assist abilities. So, for the Geonosians, it's prime, right? So, in the leadership ability of the Geonosian Brood Alpha, every time a Geonosian takes a turn, they are essentially mass assisting, like all of the Geonosians on the team are going to mass assist. By mass assist, what I mean is they're all going to be called to deploy their basic ability in addition to the ability that the Geonosian Brood Alpha or any other Geonosian ally uses. So that calls into question, well, what is the order that they're going to be called in? Because different basic abilities have some different effects, right? Some are going to be able to dispel buffs, and then some are going to apply debuffs. The list goes on of the possibilities that all of these basic abilities can essentially do. And so when we're talking about a squad of 5 different characters, the squad order kind of matters, because, well, maybe we want somebody in a mass assist situation called Next, who has the ability to dispel any buffs on characters that, say, have things like tenacity up or defense up or something like that we want to get rid of, so that any characters who are going to do any other sort of mechanical things, like attempt to apply their own debuffs, such as exposed, defense down, ability block, etc., have a better chance to be successful in doing that. So this is a huge issue. You know, a lot of guilds will be like, guys, you know, you need to be making sure that when you're attacking in TW, etc., you know, in TB, when you're trying to do your Wat Tambor mission, which is where the Geonosians become important, make sure that your squad order is correct. But is it actually important? Well, you know, we're going to call that into question now. So let's, you know, so I've basically the research that I've done, and I'm going to try and remember everything that I've just learned. I may fail, and I'm sorry if I do. I mean, let's talk about these Geonosians. We're going to continue to. So this is the one that's always brought up, right? Because of this totally unique ability that GBA has in its leadership. You know, the mass assist order matters, especially considering the abilities that all of these other Geonosians have as their basic. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up, the only two Geonosians that matter after Geonosian Brood Alpha being in this leadership spot are Sunfac. I'm trying not to say that. You know, anyway, Sunfac and Geonosian Soldier. Now, Sunfac dispels in his basic any debuffs, right? So let's deal physical damage to a target enemy and dispel all buffs on them, rather. Sunfac then will recover 20% of your max health if any of the buffs were dispelled away. When we come over to Geonosian Soldier and we look at his basic, he's dealing physical damage to a target enemy and then attempting to inflict Tenacity down for 2 turns. Now, Tenacity down is a super important mechanic because when you have applied Tenacity down to an enemy, they are now more vulnerable to further debuffs that might be applied later, right? Such as defense down or ability block, etc. So we want to make sure that the first thing that's happening in the mass assist of our Geonosians here is that we're first using Sunfac's Dispel to get rid of any of the buffs such as Tenacity up, which would stop any of our subsequent debuffs being added onto that enemy. We want to get rid of those first, then we want to apply the Tenacity down, and then the concept here is that we would have Poggle in the last slot, whose basic ability is also going to have an 80% chance to inflict ability block for a turn. Now, if you're attacking an enemy that has some really badass abilities that you think the cooldown is finished on and you really don't want them being applied, say if it's in the Geonosian circumstance, a really big AoE is going to be really bad for Geonosians to have to deal with, because anytime they can get around the taunt from that extra little ad that the Geonosian Brood Alpha also calls up, that little Geonosian tank, and they're going to be able to kill your actual Geonosian allies, that's going to be a huge problem for the effectiveness of that team. So having this ability block is potentially a super important thing, right? Now, it turns out that the only important thing in terms of this mass assist ability is with these Geonosians. There are plenty of other teams here. As we can see, Jedi Knight Revan, our standard Jedi team here, which is most commonly used in Territory War and Grand Arena for countering General Grievous squads. Now, the reason that Jolee Bindu is put in the second slot here is because, as those of you who have Jedi Knight Revan will know, he has the ability called Savior, which will automatically revive the first Jedi ally which is killed in battle. Now, if you have General Grievous come in and drop his AoE ability and kill more than one Jedi at once, then you want Jedi Knight Revan's unique ability to first revive Jolee, because it's only going to revive one, he's not going to revive multiple Jedi allies. And if he revives Yoda first, then that's going to suck, because then Jolee is going to remain dead. Say Bastila Shan went down too, she's going to remain dead. And that's going to be a problem, because if we had Jolie revive first, then he would have been able to use his revive ability to also bring back Yoda and Bastila Shan. Turns out it's crap. It doesn't work. You know, some people have postulated that perhaps what's happening with these unique abilities and these mass assists is that the animation speed is what actually determines what goes first, but the take-home message here is that 99% of the time it's not going to be turn order. There are also some circumstances in which it has been disproven that it's animation speed. So it still remains up in the air. Like, I'm sorry I don't have a more definitive answer for you guys. Let's keep on going through the list here. Here's Her Highness Padme Amidala. Now, you know, it's obviously here the same mechanic. We want to first be dispelling any debuffs such as tenacity up that might be happening, and Ahsoka is always going to be called in to assist, and as we know, her basic always not only goes through any foresight, but is going to dispel any buffs on the enemy that she attacks. And then C-3PO's basic is obviously going to be trying to apply that expose and whatever else it does. And so we want him to be coming in after Ahsoka in order to make sure that there isn't a tenacity up or anything like that that might be making it more difficult for C-3PO to be able to add that. General Anakin Skywalker and Kenobi are just adding damage, but so it doesn't really matter what happens here. But, you know, supposedly this would matter. However, the key thing, and I really encourage you guys to go have a look at Arnold and Bulldog's video. For those of you who haven't heard of Bulldog, I'm just going to really quick tell you guys that he's a super underappreciated content creator on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, posting a lot of information up on YouTube. And for those of you who have seen Series 1 of my Grand Arenas videos that I've been putting up, my whole Celestiam account is based off of the strategy that he laid out in one of his earlier videos that I watched some time ago as I was just creating that account. And it blew my mind. And so many of his videos do. And so I'm going to link the specific video that Arnold was referring to and that I'm also referring to down below in the description. Click on that link, but then make sure you also click. I know you guys are subscribed to Arnold T101, but I want you to subscribe to Bulldog because that guy is smart. Now, his videos may not have all, the flash and entertainment and stuff like that, but if you're purely, looking to improve your ability in this game, then I'm telling you that guy's got a lot of great ideas, spent a lot of time on his channel, and that's all I got to say about that. Let's move on. Now, the next one here, the Night Sisters. If you're running a Night Sister team, generally we have Mother Talzin coming in. Now, I'm struggling to remember because I literally fried my brain going into this squad position rabbit hole. I know why you want, theoretically, Night Sister Zombie in the second slot is because with her basic ability, she's going to be inflicting tenacity down. Okay, for 2 turns. And then what you're going to have is Old Ducker and Asajj Ventress coming in and potentially applying stun, which, if the enemy that's being attacked with this mass assist has tenacity down, is going to be more likely to be applied by either Old Ducker or Asajj Ventress, and increasing that ability. However, oh my god, I lost track of the thought that I was having before. What these guys have done is with the Galactic Challenge on the Resistance team that was going past whenever it was, there was a mechanic in there whereby if you were doing a mass assist ability on Handbag Poe, then he was applying a death mark to whatever ally attacked from the second slot. Whoever was the first assisting ally to attack, right? After the primary ally attacked. Now, what that basically disproved is that the person in the second slot isn't always the one that's going to be the first ally to attack in a mass assist situation. And this is mind-blowing because for so long, there's YouTube video after YouTube video out there that have been saying that this is such an important concept to get your head around as a SWGOH player, because in so many circumstances, you know, TB events, TW, your Grand Arena, the list goes on, this is going to be an essential concept in order to make sure that you're getting the greatest likelihood of success out of your characters, because their synergy is important, like how they work together is important. Not only in mass assist, but in uniques, but it turns out that this, most of the time, is trash. Now, let's head on down here and talk about you First Order people. As you can see, my First Order, we're now delving into the ignored recesses of my roster in my main account, but we'll be here eventually if you guys start donating to my account, which I haven't given you the ability to do yet. Then maybe we'll have a First Order squad one day, but before we do that, I have to buy FOMP to 3090. Anyway, we have... in my guild, we recommend to our players that are chasing after Galactic Legend Kylo Ren, we recommend to them that if they have these two First Order squads here highly geared, that they place them on defense in Territory War. And so we have here in the first slot Kylo Ren unmasked, the first Kylo Ren masked, First Order Officer, First Order TIE Pilot, and First Order Executioner. Now, the reason why you want Kylo Ren in the next slot here is because his basic is going to have a chance to inflict healing immunity for 2 turns, and potentially also a damage over time. And why you want your First Order Executioner in the last slot is because his basic ability, Judgment, if the target is debuffed, this attack is guaranteed to be a critical hit. And then Executioner is going to gain advantage. And advantage for both the resistance and for the First Order is a super important mechanic to making sure they're getting those critical hits as often as possible. So, you know, Executioner in the last slot and somebody who can apply a debuff in the first slot. Now, if we go down here and we have a look at the General Huxley, where he has a mass assist, we have First Order Stormtrooper sitting in the first slot here because on his basic ability, deal physical damage to a target enemy with a 50% chance to inflict speed down, so you're getting that debuff applied. This chance is increased to 100% on a critical hit, so if he has advantage, you're already guaranteed to get that critical hit. You're going to get that debuff. And then if First Order Stormtrooper has advantage, you can also dispel all buffs from the target, so you're getting a buff dispel as well. Then, etc., etc., any debuffs that are going to be applied after that are going to be applied to somebody who has had their buffs dispelled and has already got speed down, hopefully. So, yeah. Bounty Hunters. Bosk is another classic mass assist person. Now, you know, there's a few different, I'm slowly changing my Bounty Hunter team, as you guys can see, over to this. In fact, I'm actually going to have Embo or Jango Fett interchangeable here. Again, the same sort of mechanics apply to these Bounty Hunters. We have Bosk's mass assist, Grief Karga also has a mass assist here. And essentially, guys, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's... whatever happens, happens. And what happens is always predictable. However, it's not changeable, which is the key thing. So, you know, no matter how you are going to place your squad order here, it seems at this point in time there may be some information that, you know, the theory crafters and the more intelligent people than me when it comes to this game discover down the track, and so I put that as a disclaimer out there. But it seems at this point in time that you're 99% of the time your squad order for mass assists and even potentially for unique ability activations are not really going to matter. Chief, the Ewoks here, Chief Chirper again, Pablo in the second slot here. This is another classic example. Dispel all buffs from the target, you know, enemy. So he's got that buff dispel, and then anyone after him is going to be having that greater a chance to apply any debuffs that they're going to do. General Skywalker or Shakti if you're running her with the 501st. You know, again, there was a. I'm not even sure if it's if the bug has been fixed, but there's been a bug where presumably if Five's unique ability is triggered, whereby he sacrifices himself in order to save another character that's been killed first, and then passes all of his health and protection, etc., over to all of the rest of the 501st allies there, that wasn't working properly unless he was in the last slot. I'm not sure if that one's still relevant or not. You guys can comment down below and let me know, but if you don't care to dig deeper and find out, then make sure you've got 5 sitting in your last slot here. Now, this one I had to kind of theory craft myself because I haven't seen, you know, the Imperial Troopers have undergone a lot of new characters lately, which have changed their mechanics. They have become a much more viable team to use in a lot of different modes of gameplay in Galaxy of Heroes here. And so, just based off of reading the abilities and having a think about this myself, what we've got here is Moff Gideon in the leader slot for the Imperial Troopers, and then Stormtrooper here in the second slot, who supposedly, if we're going off of that old school train of thought, if the squad is or evaded, the target becomes exposed, which can't be resisted, and then if they're exposed, anybody who's following later is going to have the potential to deal that extra 25% damage with their basic ability. Now, just for those of you who don't know about how the synergy works on this team here, what is super important you have with Moff Gideon in the leader slot here with the Zeta is that you need to have specifically all allies being Imperial Troopers. One of them has to be a tank, 2 need to be an attacker, and 1 needs to be an additional support ally. Now, if you're going to have Gideon in the leadership ability, which I recommend that you do, make sure that you structure the rest of your team based off of this. So 1 tank, 2 attackers, and 1 support, which is then going to activate all of this. Whenever an enemy with the leader tag uses an ability, Imperial Trooper allies gain 10% offense, which stacks until the end of the encounter. This is why they're able to put out so much damage after a while. Whenever an enemy with the leader tag takes a turn, Moff Gideon gains 1 stack of insight. Imperial Trooper allies have an additional 25% offense and revive with 50% health and protection the first time they are defeated in an encounter. Where was this? Insights. Let's see if we can find out about that. That's demoralized. Where did we see the information for insight? I swear that was here somewhere. Bear with me. As I say, I'm not entirely up to date on these Imperial Troopers, but insight... here we go. Insight, which can't be evaded or dispelled. Subversive volley. Anyway, for those of you who are already across Moff Gideon, I hope I didn't slur my words too much then. You'll be aware of what insight does there. But basically, essentially, you are increasing your chance to make sure you get those stacks of insight, which are going to have whatever effect they have. Okay, Moth to the Flame Mothma. She is, so this is the squad that Arnold recommends you use. You're always looking to have POW in the last slot here. Because if, whoever attacks, if POW has any buffs, deal damage again. If the target has any debuffs, deal damage a third time. So he's going to be able to do those, double and triple hits based off of the buffs he has and the debuffs that the others have. So you're going to want to, again, based off of this old train of thought, make sure that, you've got POW in the last slot there, and that whoever you've got happening first has the chance to inflict debuffs. Here's another one. I call this Scoundrel Trash because I really just don't think it's that much of an effective team, especially defensively. Emphas Nest, obviously her basic is dispelling any buffs that are happening there. Young Han Solo, I think, or is it Vandor Chewbacca, have the potential to call a mass assist, but only for those allies that have ready or inspired. Let's see here. How has this? I'm sorry, guys. My brain is totally fried at the moment, but the little hourglass that spins on the top of their head, there's that buff there. Now, if you have that sitting over the top of the rest of your scoundrels, they then have the ability to contribute to this mass assist. Is essentially what I'm trying to say. Man, I'm off my game. Now, the last squad that we need to talk about here, I know you're sort of probably having trouble seeing that, but this is a CLS squad with Chewbacca, 3PO and Chewie, 2PO, Han Solo, and C-3PO. Now, with Chewbacca, he has the ability to pass guard over to another ally based off of potentially their position within the rest of the squad. Now, apparently this one is solid. I'm not very across it because, as you can see, I don't actually have my 3PO and Chewie geared up, even though it's Chewbacca that's passing guard. I think the theory is that you want guard passed over to 3PO and Chewie. There's also situations where you might want to pass over to CLS. For more information on this, if you are interested in it, then I do recommend having a look, particularly at Arnold's video. He goes over this quite a lot. But look, for the take-home message for you guys out of this video, squad order, it seems to me that for the squads that we're really concerned about actually having effect in terms of squad order, if you're running Geonosians, this one seems to be legit. The it really doesn't matter where they're positioned in the squad, as long as Fac is positioned in front of Geonosian Soldier. They could be in the middle, at the back. It really doesn't matter. The rest of the assists are going to happen as they happen. But that debuff, dispel, and then I think it's Soldier that has the potential to inflict, was it tenacity down or something like that, works. I'm not sure about Poggle the Lesser's ability block, whether that does always come in last or whether it's called first or whatever, but Sun fucking and General Soldier seems to actually work well together. Okay, let me bring you guys back over. What a video. As I say, I really had no idea how in-depth this one simple topic one would have thought in this game would have been, but there you go. If you feel like going further and further down the rabbit hole, I've only set you on the start of the path with the 3 videos that I'm going to link in my description below. If you want to go deeper, good luck to you. And if you discover anything that I didn't cover in this video, then I would love it if you would enlighten me, comment down below, and help me out too. You know what I mean? Because, as I say, this topic does have the potential to have such an influence on your performance in so many of the game modes within Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And, you know, if there is in fact something to this concept or principle, then it's important that we're all applying it. Or if there isn't, which, so far as my research informs me, there isn't 99% of the time, then, you know, we can all stop wasting our time and yelling at each other in our own guilds for not doing it. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoy the new look. I'm loving our new base. We've got the flags happening. We've got my assistants in the background here doing everything behind the scenes and making sure we're bringing you the greatest and most entertaining content. If you did in fact enjoy this video, then I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and hit that like button. Share the video around in your circles. I need to get subscribers. I'm so small right now that it's hurting my ego beyond your imagination's capabilities. So if we can get some more subscribers, that would be fantastic. Obviously, I'm always interested in your thoughts on the video or on anything that you might want to talk about. Whack it down in the comments below, and I promise I will respond, if not with anything else, but a little love heart to let you know that I 100% agree with what you said. And I will see you in the next video, which I promise is coming very soon. Thanks very much for hanging out, guys, and peace out.